Welcome to Thrill Zone Recap Studios, where every movie hits harder, faster, and with style. And what better way to kick things off than with a bullet? Strap in, because our very first recap dives into the high-speed chaos, assassins, and wild twists of Bullet Train.
Let's roll.
The story kicks off with a gut-wrenching image. A young boy lies critically injured in a hospital bed after a mysterious fall from a rooftop. Standing beside him is his devastated father, Yuichi Kimura, burning with the desire for revenge. As the doctors work to save the child, a new threat makes the headlines. A deadly venomous snake has escaped from a containment facility, and authorities are in panic mode. That snake? It's also heading somewhere. Yuichi's father soon arrives at the hospital. Tension crackles between them as they speculate who could have tried to kill the child, and why. Cut to Tokyo's bustling streets. We meet a man walking with purpose, talking on the phone with a woman named Maria Beetle. He's known only by his codename Ladybug, an assassin on a journey of self-improvement. Ladybug says he's trying to stay calm, avoid violence, and turn his bad luck around. Maria, his handler, assures him this new job is simple. Just retrieve a briefcase on a high-speed bullet train heading from Tokyo to Kyoto. The previous contractor, Carver, called in sick, so Ladybug is filling in. With his gear in hand, Ladybug boards the bullet train. It's a sleek beast with 16 cars, 10 economy, 6 first class, and it stops at each station for just 1 minute. Unbeknownst to him, Kimura boards the same train, hot on the trail of whoever harmed his son.
Meanwhile, two sharply dressed hitmen, Lemon and Tangerine, also join the ride. They're twin brothers in the business. The brothers' mission is twofold: protect the briefcase and escort the son of the terrifying crime lord known as White Death. They were hired to retrieve the son after a kidnapping and return both him and the ransom-filled briefcase to White Death. But trouble starts fast. Ladybug snags the briefcase, unknowingly stealing it from Lemon and Tangerine. Ladybug locates the briefcase in a luggage rack at the back of the train. Elsewhere, Kimura finds the person behind his son's attempted murder, following instructions from a mysterious note sent by the person who tried to kill his son. But when he reaches the designated seat, he doesn't find an enemy, just an adorable young girl.
But before he can react, she tases him. This girl is no innocent. She's the prince, a manipulative sociopath who uses her sweet appearance as a mask. She's orchestrating a deadly game, and Yuichi is now a piece on her board.
Meanwhile, Lemon and Tangerine realize the briefcase is gone. When they return to check on the White Death's son, they find him dead, his eyes bleeding from a mysterious poison. Panic sets in. They know their boss doesn't forgive failure. Tangerine tells the story of White Death's rise.
Once, the Japanese underworld was ruled by a fearsome man known only as Minigishi. Brutal, untouchable, until a former Russian mobster joined his ranks, earned his trust, and eventually betrayed him. In a single night, the Russian now known as the White Death slaughtered Minigishi and his entire clan. Since then, he's ruled as a ruthless, near-mythical figure. After his wife's death in a car accident, he became a recluse, only communicating through proxies. That's why he hired Tangerine and Lemon. But things spiral.
Back with Yuichi, he regains consciousness to find that Prince has rigged his gun.
Worse, she reveals a man in the hospital will kill his son if she dies. She knows Yuichi works for the White Death and had delivered a briefcase to one of his associates 2 days ago. She's using that trail to reach the White Death.
She's been following the briefcase to find White Death, and now she wants Yuichi to kill him for her.
Meanwhile, Ladybug, ready to abandon this cursed mission, attempts to leave the train.
He's ambushed by a mysterious assassin called the Wolf, seeking vengeance for the death of his wife. An entire wedding party, all poisoned in one horrifying attack. The Wolf blames Ladybug, who has no clue what's going on. The two brawl in a confined train car, but Ladybug survives by turning the Wolf's own knife against him.
Ladybug stashes the briefcase and calls Maria, who confirms that the real target at the wedding was Wolf's boss. Ladybug, working undercover as a waiter that day, unwittingly saved Wolf's life. But he wasn't the killer.
Ladybug sees Tangerine searching for the briefcase and hides in the luggage rack. Tangerine doesn't recognize him and moves on. He then bumps into Prince and Yuichi. When he asks if they've seen anyone suspicious, Prince, still pretending to be innocent, describes Ladybug, whom she saw earlier. Meanwhile, Lemon returns to his seat. and gets a text describing Ladybug's appearance, just as Ladybug sits across from him.
Tension mounts. Ladybug offers to return the case in exchange for his life. Lemon is tempted but not convinced. He believes Ladybug killed the White Death's son. Not knowing Ladybug thinks he's being blamed for Wolf. Another brawl erupts, ending with Lemon unconscious. His water bottle secretly spiked with sleeping powder. Ladybug hides the gun, takes Lemon's phone, and discovers the son's body. The same poison, bleeding eyes.
He tells her someone else must be on the train, executing a different job, the identical method of poisoning that killed both Wolf's family and the White Death's son is no coincidence. While trying to hide, Ladybug accidentally opens a cage containing a snake recently stolen from a zoo. Its venom causes bleeding eyes, confirming it's the same poison used in the recent deaths. Yuichi receives a call from the Elder, which Prince makes him put on speaker. When Yuichi reveals his mission of revenge, the Elder is disappointed. Prince ends the call and throws away Yuichi's phone, ensuring no more outside contact. Tangerine wakes Lemon, who's starting to believe Ladybug didn't kill the son. Before they can act, they receive a new order: get off the train at the next stop, not in Kyoto. A group of Yakuza is waiting, but the brothers suspect it's a setup. Tangerine steps off the train alone and warns the henchman that he's a seasoned professional who doesn't fall for cheap tricks. Thanks to this bluff, they believe his story that Lemon is still inside, guarding both the briefcase and the son, who's now lifeless, but being manipulated like a puppet from the window by Lemon. The ruse works, and Tangerine safely gets back on board. With time running out, the brothers decide to split up and search both ends of the train for Ladybug. Before leaving, Tangerine gives Lemon his gun for extra protection. Once they're gone, Prince checks on the son and, realizing he's dead, spits in his face with cold disgust. She returns to the bathroom. Prince and Yuichi find the briefcase and hide in the bathroom, where Yuichi has finally managed to unlock the briefcase. But Prince isn't after the money. Her real goal? To plant a bomb inside, rigged to explode when White Death opens it. It's the same trap she's already set with Yuichi's gun-fitting revenge. She reveals that White Death has survived 31 assassination attempts, always turning his attackers' weapons against them. Her idea? Let White Death unknowingly kill himself by using Kimura's rigged gun. Meanwhile, Ladybug hides in a different bathroom, while Maria, his handler, fills him in. A notorious gangster surgeon was killed mid-procedure by a rare poison that causes bleeding from the eyes. The assassin behind it? Hornet. And now Ladybug needs to find her fast to hand her over to the twins and stay alive. Ladybug makes a risky move and uses Lemon's phone, but it backfires. Tangerine tracks him using the app and corners him in the bathroom. Another brutal fight breaks out, punches fly. Bones crack until Tangerine pauses to take a call from White Death's crew. This time, the order is clear: get off at the next station with the briefcase, or everyone on the train dies. Tangerine's stumped, but Ladybug proposes a wild idea. Since the gang doesn't know what Lemon looks like, Ladybug will impersonate him. At the next station, they disembark with a random briefcase to throw off the henchman, but the plan derails when it accidentally opens, revealing it's the wrong one. They sprint back to the train just in time, slipping on board as it takes off again. Elsewhere, Lemon is searching for Ladybug while sipping his water bottle. He stumbles across Yuichi and Prince. She plays the innocent girl act once again when asked about a suspicious man with a case. But Lemon's no fool. She slips up, saying she didn't see a briefcase, a word Lemon never used. That's enough to confirm she's a diesel. To force a confession, Lemon shoots Yuichi, then drags him into the bathroom. When he turns to Prince, the sleeping powder in his water kicks in. He collapses, and Prince quickly grabs his gun, shoots him, and hides his body in the bathroom. At the next stop, Ladybug tells Tangerine where the real briefcase is, and tries to leave the train. But Tangerine won't let him go. He still needs a fall guy. Left with no choice, Ladybug kicks Tangerine off the train just as it departs. But Tangerine isn't done. He chases the train and heroically jumps back on by smashing through a window. Ladybug changes cars and picks up Yuichi's ringing phone. It's the Elder, Yuichi's father, calling. Ladybug hangs up and tells him to use the tracking app instead. He then returns to the bar, finds the rigged briefcase where he left it, and checks Wolf's body for clues. Turns out, Wolf had come to kill Hornet, who's been hiding in the train mascot costume all along. She was also the one who killed the son, and infiltrated the wedding disguised as the chef. Hornet spots Ladybug first, disguised in a trolley employee's uniform. They fight, and she stabs him with a poison needle. Thinking fast, Ladybug turns the tables and injects her with her own poison. Hornet panics and pulls out the antidote, but Ladybug snatches it and uses it himself, leaving her to die. Back to Tangerine, he finds the tied-up bathroom and discovers Lemon's body. Devastated, he places his necklace around Lemon's neck and takes Yuichi's gun, determined to avenge his brother. He then calls White Death, telling him to meet at the final stop in Kyoto and stop hiding. White Death reveals he's already cleared the train of civilians he bought every ticket. Only the mercenaries remain. After the call, Tangerine runs into Prince, who again pretends to be innocent. At first he believes her until he sees a diesel sticker on her back, one that Lemon had placed earlier. Realizing she's behind everything, he draws his gun. But Ladybug intervenes, believing Prince's crocodile tears. In the chaos, the gun fires and kills Tangerine. The train approaches the next station. Prince pretends her bag is stuck and begs Ladybug to stay with her out of fear, once again costing him his chance to escape. But someone else boards the Elder, having used the tracking app to follow Yuichi's trail. He immediately recognizes Prince's voice from the earlier phone call and sits down across from her. Ladybug reaches for the gun Prince had planted, only to get bitten by the escaped snake. Panicking, he runs to the bathroom and flushes it down the toilet, surviving thanks to the remaining antidote. Meanwhile, the Elder snatches Prince's bag and confirms she's the one who pushed his grandson off a roof. She tries to spin it as a necessity. Yuichi was just a pawn to help her kill White Death. She hints that both father and son are dead, but the Elder isn't fazed. He'd left a bodyguard at the hospital, and that bodyguard already took out Prince's hired thug. Outmatched, Prince flees to another car. Ladybug returns and sits with the Elder, who shares his past. He once swore to protect his family no matter the cost, which led him to become a key figure in Mainishi's crime family. He had warned Mainishi about White Death, but was ignored and only survived because of fate. When he returned home, his wife was dead and his house in ruins. Yuichi was the sole survivor. The Elder went into hiding, waiting for a chance to take revenge. Now, fate has finally brought White Death to him. They find Yuichi in the bathroom still alive. The bullet missed all vital organs. Lemon is also alive, saved by his bulletproof vest. But his heart sinks when he finds Tangerine's necklace. After saying his final goodbye to his brother, Lemon joins the others, ready for payback. The Elder reminds them they must work together to survive. The train finally arrives in Kyoto. White Death waits with his army of assassins. Ladybug walks out with the briefcase to buy time, but is quickly captured. The henchmen argue over who gets to open the case. Meanwhile, White Death boards and finds Prince, his daughter. He always wanted a son, which is why she got the cruel nickname. She resented her brother, who had their father's attention despite being a screw-up. She hands White Death the rigged gun, hoping he'll use it. But instead of killing her, he coldly tells her she was never part of his plan. While Lemon struggles to get the train moving again, White Death confirms Ladybug's suspicion. All the assassins on the train were hired by him, meant to kill each other. His revenge was for the death of his wife. The Bolivian job handled by the twins forced him to leave town, and his wife died in an assassination attempt meant for him. She might have survived if the gang's surgeon hadn't already been killed by Hornet. White Death believes Ladybug is Carver, the mercenary responsible for killing his wife, but Ladybug insists it's a mistake. Before he can explain, the briefcase opens and the bomb explodes. Chaos erupts. The Elder and Yuichi battle White Death's men, and Lemon finally manages to restart the train. The explosion throws Ladybug, White Death, and his crew back onto the train as it speeds away again. The Elder battles White Death in hand-to-hand combat, and nearly loses until Yuichi throws a water bottle, distracting him long enough for the Elder to deliver a fatal blow with his sword. Ladybug races to the control room, helping Lemon hold off attackers. In a final act of heroism, Lemon tackles the last gangster off the train, sacrificing himself as they fall into the river. Ladybug cuts the brake wires, derailing the train as it crashes into downtown Kyoto. The Elder and Yuichi survive by clinging to a seat, and Ladybug lands safely thanks to a giant mascot costume. They emerge from the wreckage to find White Death still alive, but not for long. He grabs Prince's rigged gun, and it kills him instantly. Just when it seems over, Prince appears, ready to claim her father's throne. But she's immediately run over by a speeding Tangerine truck. Turns out, Lemon survived the river, saw the truck on the road, and took it as a sign. He stole it and used it to avenge his brother. As Yuichi and the Elder walk away, a luxury car pulls up for Ladybug. It's Maria, But true to Ladybug's legendary bad luck, her car is instantly crushed by a falling light post. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this wild ride through Japan's deadliest train, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another cinematic recap.